everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Early May, just about 9 p.m. here. Gonna hopefully get back in, catch the end of the Knicks and Pacers. But for the battery light fans, hadn't talked about it in a while. What if I told you we started this and the battery light is flashing? Yeah, it's that bad. So we're gonna try to expedite this. Good news is I don't think it'll take it terribly long, at least by our standards. And what we've got for you on this Mopar Monday is a Zoro tool haul. This is some stuff I just kind of monitor, and there was a discount on this first item on top of a discount we can get. And it just kind of fell into place. So a little backstory: we had grabbed these Wright impacts. I was torn on leaving them here or taking them to work. The work cart is almost entirely Proto, and I was debating that, right, because we needed some deeps. We've just been rocking the El Cheapo hybrid set of impacts that we kind of had in a travel bag, and then decided to kind of see how they did. And this was gonna be the counterpart for them. And then this happened. This is Proto's part number. If you're new here, again, timestamps, links, all that stuff down below. If I can find it, sometimes these things I buy from Zoro will disappear, but using the part number, if you put forward a little effort, you should be able to track it down. Again, I don't make jack off any of this. It's all there for your convenience. But J72102, this is where we're going to get started. This thing would typically be a really good buy, like around 50 bucks or so. They had it 10% off. That made it 43 bucks, and then of course we took more off of that. So this is basically like a $35 or so set of sockets. And if you're curious what they are 1/4 to 3/4, or they should be, we haven't opened the box yet, 1/4 to 3/4 impact sockets. And despite the size of the box, these should be shallow. So let's open them up. I will tell you right now, I don't think I've gotten to make a video. I told you when we started doing this, I'm like, these are the good spring rails. Maybe some of them are. The 1/2-inch drive, good frickin' lord. Putting those sockets on was a nightmare. Once they come off, they don't really go back on well. And so basically, you know, there's only so many sizes I use. I basically have my frequently used ones just off, sandwiched between, and I kind of know where to go. So that is what it is. I'm not a fan of the spring steel. Again, I thought these would be the good ones. There's good spring steel and there's junk. I don't want to say these are junk, but they are not what I would consider to be the good ones, sadly, and I thought they would be. But this is what we've got, just a bag of sockets. These are not flashy. These are nothing fancy. There's not going to be any crazy knurling or anything along those lines. These are just utilitarian, get it done, Proto Impact sockets. Quite beefy. Again, keep in mind, this is 3H drive. I love everything about them. The chamfer, the deep stampings. And then, of course, you got a pretty good sidewall there. These are American made down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have a very, very long track record with Proto Impacts. Do I like Wright? Absolutely. Do I like their stamping better? Slightly. The vast majority of the time, you can just walk into some killer deals on Proto. Some of you are like, oh, I don't use Macs. Well, hey, for all the Mac people, let's say that you shatter a socket, you lose it, you know where you left it type of a thing, and you just don't want to shell out, you know, the 20-30 bucks depending on the drive size and socket size. Proto is the answer. You can pick these things up individually and you will save yourself a crud ton of time and trouble. This is a 9-piece set. Okay, this is 1/4 to 3/4. That is pretty comprehensive for 3H drive. Can we go bigger? Have we gone bigger with our drive sizes before? Oh yeah. You can do that. 11/16. I want to set this off to the side. I don't really use 11/16 much, so it's kind of become a go-to sampler for me. That's what we have there. And again, basically a 9-piece American-made beefy 3H drive impact socket set for sub $40. You're basically competing with bottom-of-the-barrel chain stores, Harbor Freight. Yeah, you could get Pittsburgh for a little less, but if you step up to Icon or Quinn, that's, I mean, in the neighborhood or a little less. Especially, you know, you can say, hey, I got a coupon at Harvard. Well, you can get a coupon here. Okay, so just killer deals there. If you're thinking like, hey, well, you didn't need shallows, you just told us you had some hodgepodge set and these deep Wrights were to pair with that. Well, that's where this comes in. From Proto, JS2112. Some of you are thinking like, hey, you know, that's a very similar part number there. It's similar length box. Well, here's the deal. Check this out. If I put these side by side, I don't know about you, but I would not have gotten this correct if I didn't know the part numbers, because when I open this, yeah, these are the deeps. Wouldn't it have made sense to have these lined up in this orientation in this box and have had the shallows in here? Maybe that's what was supposed to happen. I don't know. If you're curious, if you think, well, hey, is this a matching set? It absolutely is. It's a 9-piece, 1/4 to 3/4, 6.3/8 drive, shallow impact socket set. Again, 1/2 inch. You can even see that right there. No adjustment, no zooming in. That's how good the stamping is on these suckers. Can we get an 11/16? Boy, we're good. Right there. I'm going to set that off to the side. Once again, spring steel rail and clips are included. I feel bad for anyone that has to use those. Maybe those will be better. Shouldn't pass judgment till we've tried. It is what it is. That said, what I have here is 11/16 and 11/16. This is shallow, this is deep. What we're going to do, obviously, since we've got the Wrights here, I don't know if I spin these around, this is the Wright 11/16 deep. This is American versus American. All right, this is cream of the crop. These are fantastic sockets. We've got essentially the same height. We've got, again, in my personal opinion, I just like the stamping on the Wrights better. Not to say this is bad, it's just this is kind of the cream of the crop for me in terms of socket sizes. It's stamped. Both of these are done in the orientation I want, which is socket side upright, drive size down. If we flip them, look at the bottom, keeping in mind right here, Proto there. Chamfering is very similar. Again, I do kind of prefer the Wright. Overall length, again, seems to be identical. Now, here's where we're going to flip them. We're not going to take time to mic this. Just looking at it, I almost want to say the Wright looks like a thicker sidewall. They're almost going to feel like, with a blind hand, the exact same OD. It could be eyes playing tricks on me. Let's spin these around a few times. We don't even know what we're looking at, right? Hopefully. Some of you probably saw right through that. But I'm going to say this one looks deeper, and it's the Wright. So it's fooling me, or it's actually a thicker sidewall. There those two are side by side. If we come in now and we take our shallow, you're like, fool, you don't have an 11/16 shallow. We do. It's just Capri. Now, this is a budget set, if you will. I believe Sunix is probably the OEM. Don't hold me to that. But something Proto and Wright will have on Capri and on pretty much any Taiwanese import. The sidewall, the thickness, right? That's desirable. You can see the difference there. I've got these lined up as best I can, flush against my traffic finger here in the gloved hand. It's just subtly bigger, and then you couple that with a thicker sidewall, A to B. This is the impact I want. Now, desirable most of the time. In a perfect world, every time. However, let's say some fine engineers have a spec on some castings that get finished machined, and then the hardware goes in. Well, the hardware might get run in fine robotically with a magnet or something, but what happens in the real world when then a technician has to disassemble said item to service it? This great, wonderful impact socket might just get occluded by the bore face on the casting, switching over to, this isn't a specialty thin wall socket. Of course, you can do that with impacts. You can get a thin wall, but Proto has them, by the way. This is just a situation where this is a slightly thinner sidewall from default, and it may very well clear. It could also be too big. That's the trade-off. Perfect world, you want the heaviest slugs you can get. that's not always something that will fit. That's why it's good to have variety. That's why maybe if you're like, whoa, this guy got these American-made Proto Impact Sockets for... Did we even cover the price on the deeps? I don't know that we did. $66.99 would be retail. Of course, we got them for around $50. So, all in, if you don't do any coupons or discounts, you'd probably come in around $120-ish. With what we paid, this was sub 100 for both shallow and deep 3/8 drive, 9-piece American-made, 6-point, well-vested, well-tested Proto Impact Sockets. It's beautiful. There's not much you can go wrong with there. Some of you across the pond might even be interested in that price of, paying freight or finding them on the jungle or something and bringing them in. They're fantastic impact sockets. They wear extremely well. They will last you a lot longer, most likely, than something like this. Keep in mind, 11/16 is here. Why? It's pristine, it's mint, it's a good match for these. So, something that really ticks me off, Capri's quarters are beautifully done. Their 3/8 are not chamfered. Some people prefer that. I do not. I want the chamfer. It is a selling point to me. Right here, you've got the deep Capri. Why? So we can do a comparison. We're going to come in first with the Proto. And again, this is not, I've got, yes, a master set that includes shallow, mid-length, semi-deep, and deep, if you will. This is just sort of old school American industrial versus Capri's deep. Flip it around, again, it's noticeable. Do I need to mic it? If you ever want that stuff, we can make it happen. But again, here against the Wright, noticeable. This is almost like if you had a chrome vanadium socket. Right? In Capri's case, and one of the reasons I did buy these are chrome moly. A lot of times when you have an impact with that thin of a sidewall, it's chrome vanadium. In my opinion, that's a no-no. I'm old school. It's the way I was raised and trained, and I'm going to stick to it because it's worked so far. So, in my opinion, Wright and Proto are just the cream of the crop in terms of impacts. Again, I've got the track record with them. I'm talking all my time in the industry. Similarly, the price points for an American-made socket, and I know how they perform. The Capri is the stuff I bring in blindly to try out. I don't know how it's going to do till I've used it. These are stalwarts. I know what they're going to do. Could we get a fluke batch that had some issue? Absolutely. Can happen anywhere. But bread and butter, nut come to fastener, you can't go wrong with either one of those. And again, in this case, the Protos were just a stupid goodbye. So, since the battery hasn't died, I think that's where we're going to leave it. Again, I know, shockingly fast-paced. If you're curious, it's still a red blinking light shining glaringly at me. One thing we will do, since I do have them here, if this dies, you know the drill. Thanks for watching, subscribe, jump your charge, all that stuff, right? We're going to come in and grab... I had somebody recently ask me... They'd bought themselves, I think, a Hercules Impact, and they said, man, I cannot get the sockets on. What's the deal? Am I doing something wrong? It's a friction ring. I've had something like my half-inch, the first half-inch I got, it was buttery smooth. The one that I recently bought, that thing is a bear to get the sockets on. I'm sure it'll kind of wear over time, sadly, but that's just the nature of the beast with the friction ring. Do they spin true? Sure looks like it to me. The beautiful thing with the 3/8 is this. Okay, I can come in, I so wish if I had this to do again, instead of buying the short and the long neck, which is at work, I would have bought 2 long necks. It's just something I prefer. We got to make sure we get the Proto. We're going to stick this on. I use this configuration in 3/8 drive way more than I'm going to use it on an impact. Personally, at least with what I've got to use in the cart and do most of the time. Half-inch drive, different story. For 3/8 drive, this is kind of... These suckers, they get up. They don't... You're going to have to break some stuff free with them manually from time to time, but... I've saved myself so much time. That was a fantastic purchase there. And that reminds me, somewhere in this box beside me that you can't see, I've got 2 more items that fit in well here and not well other places. They're going to add a little bit. We're going to ratchet the price up just a smidge. But if we come in and we add Protos, where is it? Right there, JS230H. you're looking at $869. This is a 3/8 drive impact socket. You're thinking like, what's the deal? You got a 9-piece set there. What could you possibly need if that's 3/4? Some of you already know, veteran viewers of the channel, exactly what I'm doing. If I set this slug down here, the bigger size you get, the better these sockets look, Proto and Wright. What is this, you ask? Take a look at that glorious stamping. It's 15/16. What am I going to do with that? 5/8. If you're thinking like, wait, you couldn't just do that for the OCD people you always try to protect and have 10-piece shallow and 9-piece deep, could you? We could, but we didn't, and that's why we have this, which is going to be Proto's part number J773OH. You know what this thing costs? A 15/16 socket. Can't walk into Harbor Freight and buy a standalone icon. There's several brands you can't walk in and easily get, like these Capris over here. If you recall, that's currently what I have at work in 3/8 drive, and you're like, why do you have that, dude? I had to buy 2 of them. Even like sort of like a mid-tier brand, where you can, to their credit, get them individually-ish. I had to buy 2, and that was actually cheaper than buying one standalone, which yes, you can do. Not always the case across brands, but this guy right here, $10. This is a 15/16 socket. Yes, it's just 3/8 drive, but this is a slug of metal. Okay, this is quite the upgrade over what I've got. If you're curious, like, what in God's green earth are you going to do with 3/8 15/16 in terms of an impact socket? This convenience. Again, what is the advantage here? If it's not torque, it's speed. That's right, top end. That goes a lot faster than I can turn, even with a T-handle, and it is a beautiful thing to add to your repertoire. And again, it saves me time. That's awesome. That's literally all those are going to see action-wise. It's just for convenience, if you will, time savings. Otherwise, the 1/4 to 3/4, would I love to bush that out, especially a little on the big end? Yeah. Realistically, the 15/16 for me is going to see a ton of use. Coming down, the next big size that's going to see a lot of use is 3/4. And then past that, 9/16, half, 7/16. 3/8 as well does see quite a bit of use. 1/4, 5/16, they're just kind of chilling, you know, like 11/16 and 13/16. Although, with what I do at work, they're more likely to be used than those 2 drive sizes. 7/8, kind of in that oddball territory. Every once in a while, there's a freak situation. But bread and butter, 15/16, 3/4, 3/8 through 9/16, essentially. So. Battery still has not let us down. Amazing. What a trooper. And, on that front, I don't know if I'm going to catch the game or not, but even with these additions, the 15/16 drive sizes, we basically added just shy of $20. That puts this with sale prices like still under $120. Customized in this case, 3/8. Pretty dadgum comprehensive for 3/8. Can you stretch it to this? Yes. Realistically, if I'm doing anything that's, you know, been out in the field or needs to be like driven down hard type of a thing, we're going to run it with a 1/2-inch pneumatic. But like I said, for the convenience of just running in, you know, these 2.5-inch bolts, boom, the little ratchet there has got some speed to her, so it's a fantastic setup. Again, the fact that we're still able to get American-made sockets at these price points, kind of crazy. Again, they're cheaper than a lot of the import junk. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have shelled out more for a trash set of impact sockets from Amazon than we shelled out for these American-made stalwarts. So it's nothing special. Again, and that's what I like to think, but the truth is, anyone watching this, anyone that just knows about this stuff, you can do the same thing. You can save the same money. And again, this is something with Proto and Wright. I don't have to tell you, like, hey, it seems great initially, you know, check back in 5 years when we've got some seat time. No, like, I've used these professionally for years, and they're solid, especially, again, for the price points and with deals like this. So, Proto 1/4 to 3/4, my apologies not having anything, like, cool and refreshing to look at a complete set. Maybe I'll painstakingly stab that together for you. But fantastic buys. If you're in the market or you're on the fence about impact sockets, maybe looking to upgrade, maybe just want something for a service truck or, throw it in the road, you're going to go on drag week type of a deal, but you want something that's not going to shatter, be dependable without breaking the bank, $40 set of Proto Impacts, I'd say, is a pretty good bargain. But that's just me. Again, if you buy this, do I make a dime? No. Does Proto throw me t-shirts? No. I'm just sharing what I do, what I'm familiar with, and what deals I find, in case some of you are interested in capitalizing as well. But that said, if you've got the same experiences, if you've got different experiences, if you hate Proto and Wright, by all means tell people. Make sure you tell people why. The more elaborate you are, the more you will help them out. And believe it or not, in this crazy world, that's kind of the goal of this video, to help people out. So if you want to help me out, how can you do it? You don't have to spend a dime. You don't have to take any affiliate links. No. You can simply subscribe, watch the video, leave a like, leave a comment, interact with it, any of that stuff. It's all free. Eventually, maybe the channel will, hit milestones where I can spend more money on more tools and more cars, because I'm a simple man, and that's what makes me happy. And, I share quite a bit of it with you. So with that said, shout out to the battery once again, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, maybe learned a little something. Again, some point in time, maybe I'll get some time at work and I can lag some stuff home and kind of show you some used and abused 2-decade-old Protos and Wrights. Time allows. But in the meantime, again, if you did enjoy, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. Furthermore, if you jump your Charger across a creek and you rock this $40 set of shallow Proto Impact sockets in the trunk or the glove box, YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. I'm feeling dangerous. I might just go ahead and try to crank out another fast video, mainly because I want to take this stuff to work with these sockets. So wish us luck on that front. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.